CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today, I've got Jonathan Sharp, and we're going to be talking about his book, 50 Challenges for 50 Years. So for those that don't know, I know Jonathan doesn't look it, but he has actually reached 50 years of age. And in his 50th year, he decided to do 50 challenges. Of which many of them he actually went out to his network and said, what can I do? And we're going to be talking about this. Now, first thing to remember, this is about charity. And I'm sure Jonathan is going to go into that in more detail. But Jonathan, where can people find you?
So name's Jonathan Sharp. I'm the CEO of Britannic. So if you want to connect, LinkedIn, you'll find my profile searching for Jonathan Sharp at Britannic.
Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on. I kind of feel that I know you, even though I've never met you, because you've written this in. It's kind of like you're speaking when you write this, which is lovely. And I also think I know you because everything seems to start with. We started with a glass of champagne,
or a glass of wine, or a beer.
Yeah. So before we get to the book, explain to us what the 50 at 50 initiative was about.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was really inspired by the fact that I was approaching my 50th year. So I was sat down with a glass of wine with my wife and in December, and we were talking about what we could do to mark my 50th. It was also my children's 18th, 21st and 25th birthdays as well. So very special year. We talked about potentially going on a holiday of a lifetime, maybe a safari to Africa. And the more we talked, the more I wanted to do something that was really going to be very memorable for us all. And importantly, I wanted to give something back as well. So both of my parents have had cancer, and thankfully they've won that battle and they've come through. And I really wanted to recognise that. So we decided we were going to do 50 challenges, a crazy idea, and really set about trying to raise much needed funds for cancer research.
So you actually went out to your network. Did you come up with some of them yourself, or did you all get your LinkedIn network to come up with them all? Or?
Yeah, definitely. So Emma and I were talking about it. I was jotting ideas down. So we'd come up, I think, with 20 odd ideas, and some of them very odd. And then I put the intentions out on LinkedIn and invited some other ideas, and they started to flood in. There were some brilliant ideas. There was also for a second there. Yeah, back in the room. I saw the
You're back.
Yeah. So we came up with a few ideas, put it out to LinkedIn. We're inundated with lots of ideas, some very bizarre, which I didn't take all of them up, and that was it. We locked the 50 in, and off we went.
So talk us through some of the things that you did.
Yeah, there was a lot.
There's 50.
Yeah, exactly 50, right? So one of them cycled to Paris from home, so 187 miles door to door to the Eiffel Tower. We walked the South Downs way, which is 100 miles. We did the three peaks, so three largest mountains in the UK, one in each country. Chili eating competition.
Which you did a chili eating competition, didn't you?
That's it. Yeah.
Where did you come third or second or something?
Well, nearly. I came fourth, right? So
fourth. Okay. Yeah. So joint third.
Yeah. Well, that'll do. It certainly sounds better. I didn't intend on doing a chili eating competition. We'd gone to a festival. That was the challenge, and they announced on the tannoy chili eating competition. I thought, I've got to go for it, right? So it was a bit hot, must be said.
I can imagine, yes. So how did you? What is it that you did? In that. So you now know how to do a chili eating contest. I actually read an article recently about it, and the final point was after you've done one, never do one again.
Yeah, I think I'd echo that, and I think for me, I was planning on dropping out quite early. It was just about having a go. My wife managed to whip up quite a lot of support from the crowd, bless her. So when you've got people chanting your name, you do feel compelled to keep going. And you're presented with a glass of milk on the table, and you have to eat chili. They get progressively hotter. There were 10 rounds up to the Carolina Reaper, which is 2 million Scoville, so hottest chili in the world. And if you touch the milk, if you took a sip, you were out. So thankfully I managed to get quite a long way down the road, but the ice cream that dealt with the inferno inside was very important, but the heat on the hand stayed for the rest of the day. But that's
I can imagine you didn't wipe your eye, did you?
Well, that's another story for another time, Tim. Right?
So, you did a lot of, you cycled to Paris, you walked the South Downs. You did that in four stages, I think. The South Downs, we had to break it up, so we actually did it across, I think it was eight different stages. Ironically, though, the first walk we did was the longest, so it was 14 miles, and as a kid, I've had too many sporting injuries, so broken bone in my foot. I had a bone spur that needed removing from my heel, and cartilage operation. So about 7 miles into it, and I was really feeling the pain. So that was a tough challenge, right? 14 miles, and I think a lot of us in business live quite a sedentary life, sat at the desk, and probably a bit too much good living. So it was a shock to the system, right? I think that, from what I kind of read, was that the first one was probably a bit of a shock, but they kind of seemed to get easier because you're whether you got used to it or whether your fitness increased.
Yeah, definitely the fitness increased. One of the challenges that I set out to do was 50,000 steps in a day, which I don't know why.
Oh yes, 50,000 steps. That's a lot.
That was a lot. So it's around about 24 miles. So I really struggled with that. I got a blister after the first mile that rubbed raw. But I think for me, yes, I got fitter, but also it was that mental strength and just really thinking about the purpose of why I was doing this. That's what drove me on, right?
So what was the most physical challenging challenge that you had?
Yeah, I think it was genuinely that 50,000 steps in a day. I mean, I did after watching Kev Sinfield, that tremendous charity generator and giver, and 7 ultra marathons in 7 days inspired me to change what was an easy challenge into 50 miles in a day, which was 10.5-mile walk, mile swim, and the remainder 38.5 miles on a bike. And that was quite tough, and there were very high gusts of wind that day as well. So quite a few physical challenges, and when you're doing something to obviously raise money and trying to inspire people, then you put yourself out there to really challenge yourself and go out of your comfort zone, which I think is a healthy thing to do, right?
Yes, I think absolutely. And what was the most mentally challenging thing that you did?
Yeah, so I don't like heights, right?
No, neither do I.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was an irrational fear of heights. I think it's more rational. I don't want to fall. And when we did the 3 peaks, I was just looking up at Ben Nevis and the zigzag path. It made me feel really ill. And the last summit that we had to go up was Snowdon, and it was a really windy and rainy day, and I was up there on this ledge, and it was a big drop down to the left of me, and just fear, the sheer terror overcame me, and I was rooted to the spot, and I really had to dig deep. I was very fortunate to have the support of a very good friend of mine, Rich, who's an international mountain leader. So he bravely stood on the edge of that ledge and helped me collect my thoughts. And I managed to bag that summit, but my God, I had to fight those tears back. It was so emotional, really, really tough thing to do. But I was pleased when it was over, right? I was pleased when we were at the top and we made it.
You did have, I mean, apart from your wife that supported you, you did have whenever you did a particularly difficult challenge, you did have a good support team as well, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important, and yeah, my wife, absolute superstar. She carried on with the walking challenges with me. She twisted her knee. She lost actually lost a toenail from one of the walks as
Oh
well.
wow!
Yeah, she kept going. Huge amount of strength. My daughter, who cycled to Paris with me, Phoebe, and tried to teach me to surf. My other daughter, Harriet, who tremendous swimmer, who was my pacemaker for the mile, and my son Ollie, who helped me and my father to make a go-kart. So plus of course the support from my parents, and Rich and his wife Kirsty. It was really humbling, and I think it was also the messages and the support that we got through LinkedIn, through friends, and and people that we met on the way, and hearing their stories, it inspired me, and my journey was inspiring them. And I think that's what it's about, is trying to create create momentum and inspire each other.
Yeah, because in those places you're going to have, it's going to be physically and mentally tough, but the fact that you're doing it for charity, it's a good cause. That must be something that's going to sort of like motivate you on.
Yeah, most definitely. And I remember the cycling around the Isle of Wight. So that was
in a day. Yes, that was
yeah. So that's I think it's 65 miles, that sort of distance. And I foolishly put it on the list, and I think I'd committed all of these challenges across LinkedIn, and there was approaching 500,000 views of what was going on. So I felt obviously duty bound to carry on, and try and keep pushing forward to raise funds for cancer research. And yeah, the Isle of Wight bike ride, it was going around a corner and seeing a huge hill, and just getting my head down, pushing on, and it didn't matter the challenge or the pain that I was going through. It was all about thinking those that less fortunate, that have got cancer, that have having to deal with it, or those that have lost loved ones to the disease, that what they have to go through. And quite frankly, cycling 65 miles is nothing in comparison. So it's just things like that if you find a cause that you really believe in, it will drive you on.
Yes, I can imagine there were times, because I know that you're organisational. You've got like you ferry at a certain time, but you had a ferry to come back again. So you were stuck to a time, weren't you, in terms of doing it?
Yeah, definitely. And I did have an unexpected additional challenge that was thrown at me. I had a loud pop, and I thought the tire had gone, and the wheel stopped straight away, and a spoke had actually broken on the bike, and the wheel was buckled. My wife and her friend Sharon had gone out to the island in the camper van. That was my official support vehicle, and when it happened, there was no mobile signal. I was right on the edge of the wilderness of the island. So again, I just had to head down and power through it, and I didn't need to use brakes going downhill. It was that buckled, but we managed to get the wheel.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we managed to get the wheel fixed. We stopped, had a bit of lunch, another beer, and
that's a wine, yeah.
Yeah, anything, and found a guy who'd fix it for me. So that was an interesting couple of hours. He was a Spanish guy, and he was telling me all about the revolution that should happen. So it was very strange, very bizarre.
So what do you think you learned from it, Jonathan?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, it's an old cliche, isn't it, about how fast time goes and how precious it is. So I think it's really important that you should value your time. And we all live busy lives, and it's amazing what you can achieve if you actually make the time for it, and what you can do. So I think it's all about experiences, and as we get older, that this is what we cherish is the memories and the experiences, and of course the other thing is about the beauty of nature, and we live in a beautiful country, a lot of amazing countryside, and getting out amongst it is really good for the soul.
Mm. And if someone else was going to do something like this, what would be your recommendations?
Yeah, so I think first of all, go for it. Don't think about it too long.
And I think that's probably one of the things, isn't it, is not to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge commitment. We were busy every single weekend from day one on January 1st all the way through to New Year's Eve the same year. So I put a list together. I was planning it out. It was on the fridge, and I was ticking stuff off as I went. And it is. Don't think about it. Commit. Go for it. And also importantly, get that support. If you can have people experiencing these things with you, they'll pick you up when you're down. It's also some really enjoyable things to do, and it's a chance to reconnect. We all, as I said, live busy lives, and it's very easy to lose touch with friends and family and drift apart. So just go for it, and cherish the moments. Right, I'd say we took a lot of photos. I made notes as I went, and it's really good to hold those memories and reflect on what you've done and what you've experienced.
Because one of the things that you did, which I thought was really great, was that you did a fishing trip, to catch a fish, and then you cooked it on the beach.
Yeah,
so
that
wasn't all about cycling around the Isle of Wight.
No, not at all. And that was that was absolutely amazing. And we luckily got a great friend that lives down in Poole Harbour. We went out in his boat, and it took a while to catch the fish. I caught a starfish first, a crab, and but in the end we got there, and we had a good selection of place, and filleted them, cooked them on the beach, and it was amazing. It was so fresh, and really, really great day, and great experience to have.
So you then wrote it all up in this book.
Yeah, so I wasn't planning on writing a book. It was one of those that I was sharing updates as I went on LinkedIn, and I'd always planned on giving my parents a scrapbook, right? A memento of the experience. Obviously I'd decided to do this in honor of them, and and also recognition of the support and the love that they've shown and given me over the years. And I started to write it up when we were on holiday, and before I knew it, 45,000 words were down on paper, and I thought, well, let's go for it. Let's write a book, and if other people read the story and it inspires them, then that's a great thing. And it also meant that it was a half decent present to give my parents for Christmas as well.
Well, it saved buying a pair of socks, doesn't it?
That's it. Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. So how much money have you raised so far?
Yeah, so we're just shy of 5,000 at the moment.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's hopefully that goes a long way to helping to support the cause, and obviously we'll keep going, and hopefully we'll sell more books as well, and we'll be able to keep contributing towards what's a great cause, what's a great charity.
So in terms of this book, if someone buys this book, where does the money go?
Yeah, so it's self-published. So I've tried to keep the cost down. So obviously a chunk goes to those wonderful people at Amazon and Kindle digital print. But yes, the rest is going to charity. The rest is going to
it all goes to
cancer research.
Okay, so even if they don't read it, they're donating to cancer charity.
Absolutely, and in fact, what I've done is I've built a website as well to accompany the book. So there's a QR code in the book, and on my LinkedIn profile there's a the web address. So there's a whole load of photos on there. There's more information about why I've done this, and a link to the Just Giving page as well. If people want to give that way, that's obviously very much appreciated.
And I scanned the QR code and went to the photos, and there's a photo for every of the things.
Absolutely.
It's quite fun in terms of the after I'd read the book, seeing the photos as well.
Oh, thank you.
So if I wanted to buy the book, where could I get it from?
So there's the link from my website, but it is on Amazon. So go to Amazon books, search for 50 challenges for 50 years. It'll pop up. If you want to read it, if you want to buy it, I think it's probably quite an easy read. It's hopefully reasonably entertaining.
It's not War and Peace.
No, definitely not. So and if you do read it, if you do enjoy it, please do give a review as well, because it just helps to spread the word.
Excellent. So Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on and talking about your book.
Pleasure.
I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And as I say, I kind of feel that I know you because you do write it in it's a really nice. It's like you're speaking, so it's like you're telling a story, and it's a nice start.
Thank you very much, and also thank you for the opportunity to meet and talk about the book and share the story.
So if people wanted to connect with you, then Jonathan Sharp on LinkedIn.
That's it. Yeah.
You have a website which is
it's 50for50-book.com.
Okay, and there's the 50 Challenges for 50 Years book on Amazon, which is for charity.
That's it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me.
Pleasure, and thanks for your time.
You're welcome.